Like always, today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors: gluten-free diet water, premium junk clothing, Williamson wines, Good Dudes coffee, and K7 ammo. Gluten-free diet water. Stay hydrated with a refreshing twist. Perfect for those health-conscious listeners. Premium junk clothing. For those who love to express their unique style with high-quality fashion pieces. Visit premiumjunkclothing.com and use code EverydayGSD15 at checkout. Williamson Wine, natural artisan wine from Napa and Sonoma. Good Dudes Coffee, veteran owned by former Navy SEAL Josh Bridges. Every cup is brewed with passion and dedication to quality. Visit their website at gooddudescoffee.com and use discount code EverydayGSD10 for an exclusive offer. And last but not least, K7 Ammo, veteran owned by former Green Beret Carl Sexton. K7 Ammo is high-quality ammunition to meet all your shooting needs. Visit k7ammo.com and use discount code GSD10 at checkout. And also, don't forget to visit the Everyday GSD store at darinbibeau.com for all your official Everyday GSD merchandise. And now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Everyday GSD podcast. We are on the Special Forces Green Beret cruise, sitting out here in the middle of the ocean. No, I shouldn't say we're sitting. We're steaming right now. And I have a special guest today, Charles Simpson, but you go by Chuck, correct? Yeah. Okay, 21 years in the military. You retired as an E8. You were a Green Beret. You've done approximately 15 overseas tours in your time. You're also a business owner. Currently, you own Business Protect Consultant, Inc., correct? Yep. And you also are an Air Force instructor for the Air Commandos.
Right, yes.
Okay, pretty impressive. So let's talk about how you got into doing all of this stuff.
Well,
let's just jump right into it.
Actually, my military career probably started when I was in high school.
Okay.
I did junior ROTC for 3 years.
Let's get that mic a little closer to you. Yeah, perfect.
I did junior ROTC for about 3 years.
Yeah, right on.
And that's where I first met my first Green Beret.
Okay.
He was our commander, Lieutenant Colonel Simons, and he basically asked me what I wanted to do after I graduated, and I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to join the Army. He told me all about Special Forces. So, believe it or not, my recruiter screwed me. So I go to the recruiting station.
Why do I have a hard time believing that?
Exactly. So I go to the recruiting station after graduation and said I wanted to go Green Beret, Special Forces. He was looking it up and he goes, well, the only thing's really open right now is communications. I went, okay, well, tell me a little bit about what. He goes, oh, no, all you'll be doing is sitting in a van and listening to Morse code and cop and communication. That's all you're going to be doing is sitting in a van and doing nothing.
Okay.
I said, well, no, I want to get out and I want to be moving around the woods and doing all kinds of cool stuff. I said, how about the Rangers?
Well, let me back it up for a second. So when you met your first Green Beret, did he explain to you like what kind of job that was, or you just saw the uniform and you're like, that's what I want to do?
Actually, I saw the movie The Green Berets.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that happens.
Yep. Yeah. And I think I watched Green Berets and then Go Tell the Spartans.
Okay.
And after that, and then after talking to Colonel Simons, he kind of explained to me a little bit about it. So I try to go to the baby program, which is 18 X-ray back then also. And they said there was no opening, only communication. So the way he explained it to me is like, no, I'm not going to sit in a van all day long and just copy communication. So I asked him, I said, well, what about the Rangers? Because in ROTC, we had a little Ranger program where we go out and spend times in the mountains and the woods of Appalachian. Because I'm from East Tennessee,
okay,
near the Appalachian Trail, so we did a lot of stuff in the Appalachian Mountains. So he goes, nope, there's no slots open for Rangers. He goes, but I got the perfect thing for you. 11 Bravo Infantry, 82nd Airborne Division, and you'll be right there at Fort Bragg where the Green Berets are at. So all you got to do is just walk down the street and volunteer. All right, that sounds cool. Let's do that. So I went in as 11 Bravo Infantry for the 82nd Airborne Division.
And so then what happened?
After I graduate jump school and everything, I get to Fort Bragg, and I go in and tell my new platoon sergeant.
So you just said, hey, I want to walk down the street because I want to be a Green Beret.
Which was a Vietnam. Everybody, my squad leader, platoon sergeant, everything were all Vietnam vets.
Right.
So I go in there all cocked up and says, I'm going down the street to volunteer for the Green Berets. He goes, really?
Sure you are.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually walked down to the thing to volunteer, and they go, well, how many years you got in? I go, I got 5 months.
Yeah.
And they went, well, you need to be on your second, back then too, if you just came straight in, you had to be on your second enlistment.
Right.
And you had to be E5 or above.
Right.
When I try to get in. So I went, all right. So I said, all right, I'll ride it out and stay in 82nd. But I tell you the truth, the main reason I joined the Army and I decided to go to 82nd was I wanted to do 3 years.
Right.
Get out and go join the Rhodesian Army and fight in Rhodesia.
Okay.
Well, that didn't work out either. By the time my first enlistment was up, Rhodesia was over.
Right.
So that didn't work out. So that's when I went and I re-enlisted and stayed in the 82nd for a while. And then 83 was my first time going through the Q course. And that's where I flunked Morse code.
Okay.
Just because I couldn't hear the tones. I had a
Right.
hearing loss where I could not hear the tones. So they sent me back to 82nd, and then I went to, when I was in 82nd first time, I was at A Company, 3rd 325. And believe it or not, I just met my old company commander from that unit.
On the ship.
On the ship.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was.
Yeah, there's been a lot of connections this week on the ship. That's for sure.
It was Chris North, and he back there he was Captain North, and he's also the one that also taught me into going to Special Forces.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. I tell you, he's probably one of my best commanders
Nice.
I've ever had. But so I went through the Q course. Went through. Back then we didn't have selection. We had pre-phase though, which was type of a selection. Then we went to first phase, and then second phase is when you went to your MOS. But back then they would just line you up, and that's how you got your MOS. They would come down and go, medic, demo, weapons, communication. When they came from me, they go communication. I went, all right. Matter of fact, I was Chris North's commo.
No shit.
As 11 Bravo, his commo chief.
That's pretty funny.
So I said, I can do that. So went through, and then after I had no problem in pre-phase, no problem in first phase, got to second phase, setting down, get ready to copy code, and I'm sitting there, and Sergeant Brown come up to me and goes, hey, boy, when you going to start copying code? I go, when you going to start sending code? He goes, we've been sending for about 15 minutes now. I couldn't hear the tones.
Right.
So they sent me back to 82nd. I went to 1st 505th then. And if anybody can remember back then when they had the Dover plane crash with the 101st that killed over 300 people or 300 soldiers.
Right.
So they asked for volunteers to go to 101st, and I was like, well, yeah, I think I've done my time at 82nd. Send me. I'm ready to go. And I was a E6 then. And when I show up to 101st, they put me into a regular air assault infantry squad. I was a squad leader. Spent 2 weeks there. Guy came up, Barry Lau came up to me. Well, Captain Barry Lau came up to me and goes, hey, how would you like to be in the new unit we're starting for the 101st? And I said, what new unit? And they go, we're starting the long-range surveillance detachment, which is actually long-range reconnaissance for the 101st.
Okay.
So I went, do I get to go back on jump status? And he goes, yeah, sure.
Sure.
So I went there, and I spent 2 years, and that's when I went to Ranger School. So I spent 2 years with the long-range surveillance detachment, 101st. Enjoyed it. It was great. And then 88 is when they came back down. They go, would you like to go back to the Q course? I said, oh, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Right.
So I showed back up at Bragg, and they just started the selection program. I'm going, crap. They're going to send me through SFAS.
Right.
So I show up, and the guy goes, all right, well, we see here that you're Ranger qualified. You've already been through pre-phase. You've been through first phase. You just had problems in second phase. I went, yeah. He goes, all right, so we're not going to send you to selection. You're selected.
Nice.
I went, oh, great. He goes, but we do have to send you back through first phase because we changed it. All right, that's cool. And then after that, so So I go, well, he goes, and we're going to send you to Como. And I'm just looking at him going, you saw what happened in Como. He goes, yeah, but maybe you'll do better this time. I go, I don't think my hearing got any better from now to then. And he goes, nah, we're just screwing with you. We're going to send you to 18 Bravo. You're going to be a weapons guy. All right, cool. So I went through everything and graduated December of 88. First assignment was Panama. And so I show up in Panama. I'm there for a month, and I get orders to Ranger School as a Ranger instructor. I'm looking at it going, can I go to Ranger School and be a Ranger instructor? And the admin guy's going, no, that's got to be a mistake. So he checked, and he goes, no, they still have you as 11 Bravo. They haven't got your 18 Bravo in yet. So I go, but can I still go to be a Ranger instructor? He goes, nope, you're staying here.
Yeah.
So I stayed there and went through Just Cause, and I left when the battalion left. I was an A37, 775 was the team at the time, and left and came back to Bragg when they pulled everybody back. I think it was like 1990 or something like that. One cool thing I did do when I was in Panama was, and guys can't do it today. I'm probably one of the last ones to ever go. I graduated the Venezuelan sniper school.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to send anybody else to the Venezuelan sniper school.
At least not today.
So that's one badge I got, was a Venezuelan sniper badge.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
I always like people go, yeah, you'll never see that again.
Yeah.
But then we came back to Panama, and that's when I went to ANOC, BNOC, or ANOC, went through ONI, and right after ONI, I went to ASOC. So I spent some time at ASOC. And then that's 93 is when I did my SWCC time, Special Warfare Center time. And back then, you go for 4 years. You go 2 years one place, and then they'll switch you over to another place for 2 years. So my first one was, and I talked to the NCOIC ASOC then, was Scott Perry. And Scott asked me, hey, you want to come over and work for me? And I said, sure. So I did ASOC for 2 years as an instructor. And then they came over and they go, well, we can leave you with ASOC, or we can move you somewhere else. I go, well, we're somewhere else. They go, SODEC. You can be a SODEC instructor. That way you'd be in the same company and everything. I go, yeah, let's go somewhere else. So I spent a year as a SODEC instructor. Then that's when I got promoted to E8.
Okay.
And
you retired as an E8, right?
Retired as an E8. So I couldn't stay. So I didn't have orders yet, but I had ATARs for going to Germany. So I'm waiting. So I call up and go, hey, where's my orders at? I need my orders to go to Germany. And they go, all right, your orders should be there pretty soon. So about a week, I got my orders. Third group. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He goes, no, we got to send you to the requirements of the regiment. Come find out, when I got the third group, I went to B23. I was a team sergeant on 353 at the time, and that's when they were starting a new SIF up for a third group.
Right.
So since I was ASOC qualified, SFARDEC qualified, SODEC qualified, ASOC manager qualified, they said, hey, that's the perfect place for you to go, because we're starting up the new SIF unit. Because
of your knowledge.
Right. So I probably spent about 2 years there and almost got into a fist fight with the company sergeant major. I'm not going to say who he was, but
no.
You know who you are. And Chris Abel was the battalion sergeant major at the time. So I went and talked to Chris, and I go, hey, Chris, you either get me out of this company or I'm going to terminate SF status.
What did he say when you said that?
He goes, whoa, slow down.
Yeah,
goes,
calm down.
So I explained to him what was going on. Our company sergeant major was a complete alcoholic, and he would end up trying to micromanage the team drunk, and all the team sergeants wanted to just pound him into the ground.
Right.
So about 2 days later, I get called up to group headquarters, which at the time is Sergeant Major Bishop. So Sergeant Major Bishop calls me in. He goes, come on, Chuck, have a seat. And when you got the command sergeant major of the group call you by your first name, you're sitting there going, oh, fuck, here we go.
Here we go.
He goes, how would you like to go back to 7th group? I go, is that a trick question or what? He goes, no. He goes, I got another E8 that's in 7th group that wants to come and work for me. I said, sure. He goes, when can you show up to 7th group? I go, how about next week?
Yeah, right.
So I cleared a company in a week and went back to 7th group, walked in. Gordy Smith was there at the time. San Felice walked in. I'm sitting in Gordy's office. San Felice walks in and goes, are you coming back to 7th? I go, yeah. And he goes, 1st Battalion? I go, yep. He goes, all right. He looked at Gordy and he goes, he's in my company. Send him to my company. So as we're walking out, Sandy goes, just want to let you know I kind of screwed you a little bit. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I don't need a team sergeant. I need a good operations sergeant for the B team. Oh, you got to be kidding. It'll only be for about 6 months, and then we'll move you over as a team sergeant. I went, all right. So a year later, I finally pick up 7-Eleven, and I was a team sergeant on 7-Eleven until I retired in July of '99.
So then you retired, and then you went as a contractor with the agency?
No, I actually started doing executive protection down in Colombia and Ecuador.
Okay.
And I worked as a private investigator for 2 years. That was the worst job I've
You were
ever
working
did.
for a company, or you started your own at that point?
Worked for a company.
Yeah.
And
So when did you go over to the agency?
I went to the agency right after 9/11.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was in Ecuador with escorting some VIPs to the oil platforms, and I had my security manager came in and started screaming. And the only thing, I speak Spanish, but when they're speaking real fast, I'm going, whoa, slow down, because I heard American, a terrorist, and attack.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we're getting ready to get hit on this oil platform by the FARC, because we're right there near the border. And so I run into the company man's office, which is the head guy for the oil rig.
Right.
And that's when I saw it on TV happening. And so I spent probably a week there still, rotated back home. We did a rotation of 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. And as soon as I got home, I got a call from he's my mentor, and he is a Special Forces legend, Billy Waugh. Called me.
I've heard his name a few times.
Oh, he is a legend. So he called me up and he goes, Chuck, hey boy, what are you doing? I go, I'm doing executive protection in Central and South America. And he goes, you don't want to do that crap. Run a route. Meet me at this hotel. When we say run a route, he means run a surveillance detection route. So I'm going, okay, that's kind of weird, but sure. So I run a route because I'm sitting there going, I know Billy's probably got surveillance on me.
Right.
So I show up in the hotel. It's him and another guy. He goes, all right, come in. This is your interview. Have a seat. All right. You're hired. I went, whoa. What am I hired for?
Yeah.
And he told me all about Ground Branch. Used to be the old MacVSOG guys. And I go, can I have 2 weeks? Yep. 2 weeks. That's all you got.
Yeah, 14 days. Let's go.
Exactly. So I go back. I say, hey, I got to let my company, I don't want to burn any bridges. So I'm going to let my company I'm working for now know that, hey, I'm going to leave in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I actually do a short deployment down to Ecuador. And while I'm there, he calls up my wife. And my wife always tells me this. He goes, hey, Billy called me. I go, well, what did he ask you? He goes, he didn't ask me to do nothing. Well, why did he call me? He goes, he told me to do something. I'm like, okay. I go, did you do it? He goes, yeah. He goes, you need this paperwork done, this paperwork done. I got it all done, and here it is. Hand me the envelope. And I'm going, okay. So I leave and show up to D.C., and as soon as I'm running the hotel, I'm starting to see old teammates of mine that I've worked with for years, and then we're all looking at each other going, yeah. Guess you're here for the same thing.
Yeah, right. Little family reunion.
And that's when, it's like February '02 is when I started working with Ground Branch, and I deployed over to Afghanistan March '02.
March '02. So right at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. And how many times did you go over there? How long were you there with the agency?
Oh, God, a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. When we first got over there, we did like 90 days on sometimes, and get a month off. Come home, get a month off.
Yeah, quick rotations.
Yeah. And then when we weren't over in Afghanistan, we were somewhere else, either doing training in the U.S. or we were somewhere else deployed all over the Middle East.
Right. And how many years did you work with the agency?
About 11. 11. It was 10, about 10 years.
And with your experience going into that job, do you feel like you were prepared for everything that they were requiring you to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when we got there, we go, hey, when we start our training? They go, you're not going to any training.
Yeah.
We hired you for what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You're already trained.
So mine was ASOC,
Yeah.
tradecraft, and that's basically and then I was a sniper instructor.
Well, explain that to the listeners who don't know what that means.
It's like we handle sources.
Right.
We recruit and train and handle sources all over the world.
Yeah.
Can't get really
high-level networking.
Right.
How about that?
High-level networking. Yeah, I can't really get deep into it because
Yeah.
a little bit of it's still a little classified.
Right.
But
no, that's perfectly fine.
that the main reason they hired me was for that, and then also I was a sniper instructor, so
Right.
I went around working with the Afghans, building sniper units.
Right. And that's one thing about the Green Berets, and we've been talking about it a lot on the ship, is, the training and the skills that you guys have, not to just go in and destroy something. It's you have that capability, but you go in there and you work with other assets
Right.
that allows you to handle whatever the situation that is needed at the time.
Exactly.
And then you take that skill and then you bring it over to the agency, and the agency's not going to go and send you to the Crucible or send you to those courses to train, because they're like, you've already done it, and we hired you for a reason.
Yeah, because when I wasn't deployed, one of the jobs I did back in the States is I certified regular case officers and stuff for the agency on their M4s and their Glocks.
Nice.
So they had to come through us, get training, and get certified before
Right.
they deployed overseas.
And so you were there, obviously working with the agency about 10 years. You were over in the Middle East a shit ton of times. Do you have a story, one that you can share, that you want to share, that's a good story that the listeners can hear, that is a true everyday get shit done situation that happened to you while you were there in one of your deployments?
Yeah, when I went over there was two of us, and we actually started what they call back then it's called the National Counterterrorism Pursuit Teams.
Isn't it funny that you just said there was two of you? I think the public that doesn't know what really goes on, they think you're going over there with 50 guys. You know, or,
actually there were three. There was
yeah.
two, me and Tim, former CAG guy, and then there was a case officer, which
Right.
was our boss.
Yeah.
So there were three of us. So we started recruiting. We started going around to the warlords, all the provinces, and what we did was we took at least 10 of their soldiers, and brought them to us.
Right.
And the main thing about recruiting, when we went to recruit, we looked at like Dolstrom and all those other guys. Goes, we want 10 of your best guys, but we want 10 of your guys that either their families were killed or tortured by the Taliban.
Yeah.
Because we figure if we got them with us, they'll be more focused on killing the Taliban and then killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So we.
Yeah. You're less of the enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our first recruits, we got 50 in. So me and Tim's looking at each other going, 50 guys, two of us training 50 guys is,
Right.
it's
a lot.
it can't be happening.
Yeah.
So I went to the chief of station at the time and asked him, hey, because third group was over there. I go, hey, can I go to third group and see if I can get a team to come over and help us train these guys? He goes, sure. Shit.
Yeah.
If you can make it happen, make it happen. So I wrote up a minimum and I put in there to come over and do what we call a foreign and internal defense,
Right.
which is FID mission.
Yep,
It's
FID.
really big for SF. So I go over. So third group at the time. Matter of fact, the commander at the time was Ed Reeder, and Ed is another great officer that I would follow to hell and back. But so I show up and I'm talking to this young major. So he kind of looks at me. I had a full beard and everything, kind of looking at me like, and I had all sterile stuff.
Yeah.
And he's going, so I hand him the memorandum. He's looking, he's reading it, and he goes, "Sir, I don't know where you come from, but in Special Forces, we don't do FID." I was kind of looking at it like, really? What do you mean you don't do FID? At that time, Ed walked out. So
Yeah.
Ed looked at me, hey, Chuck, what's going on, man? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at him, and he goes, is there anything we can help you with? And I go, sure. So I hand him a ring. I go, but apparently Special Forces don't do FID anymore. And he goes, who the hell said that? I'm looking at the major. He goes, well, that's not what I mean.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah. He goes,
backtracking.
He goes, we're not doing FID here in Afghanistan. We're doing unconventional warfare.
Yeah.
So Ed's looking at me. He starts reading. He takes his pen, wipes out Fed and puts UW, and he goes, give them 311.
Yeah. Just change the terminology, and we're going to do the same fucking thing. I love it.
So we had 311 showed up, and the team sergeant, and I was team sergeant for years, so I had him a big, thick catalog of Black Hawk gear.
Yeah.
I go, here, order what you need, get enough for the troops, get 20 extra, because we wear the same thing that they wear.
Right.
He goes, well, what do you mean we? I go, we. You're OpCon to us now,
Yeah.
so you'll wear the same uniform we wear.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, what do you mean order what? Just look at the catalog. He goes,
outfit.
Well, he goes,
outfit it up, gear it up.
Yeah, he goes, do we have a budget? And I go, no.
No.
He goes, just order what you need.
Yeah.
So he ordered, I mean, I helped him order it, and I mean, he's just looking at it. When we're sitting there going, yeah, we need that, we need that, we need that. And he's going, holy crap.
Yeah. And no red tape. It's beautiful,
no
right?
Red tape.
Yeah.
And within, I think it was 3 weeks, we had 2 huge cargo planes come in and deliver the stuff. And he's just sitting there looking at us going, this would take us a year to get.
Oh, even you probably wouldn't even be able to get it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got it all kitted up, and we did the training, ran the guys through the training. And so our last training was a real operation, because hey, we want to make sure these guys can do what they're going to do, and we're going to run a real op.
Yeah.
And the team sergeant goes, and team leader goes, well, I need to get permission from our command. I go, no, you don't. Yeah, I need to get permission. I go, no, you're OpCon to us.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, I've already got it in writing.
Yeah, you've already been cleared.
You're going to come to us. He's like, dude, this is what I joined SF for.
Yeah, right.
So, and I'll tell you what.
But that's, going back to the mantra, right, of everyday GSD. You knew what you needed, you knew what you had to do, and you used your resources, your training, and your skills. And I don't want to say to be persuasive, but that's what it is, right?
Yep.
This is the mentality. And you're like, no is not an answer.
Exactly.
No is not an option.
Exactly.
It's going to be yes, and it's just how quickly do we come up with that yes? When you went in there and you showed the first guy the memorandum, and he goes, "Oh, we don't do that," and then you run into your a buddy that you know from before that's over there,
right,
and you show it to him, and it's simple. We're going to cross this out and change this term. Go do it.
And there it is. There's our memorandum.
Yeah, that's getting shit done. So you do multiple trips back and forth. So at what point do you decide that you want to open up you want to go into the business world and start Protect Consulting?
Actually,
or were you dabbling in that a little bit while you were?
I was actually doing that while I was still in the military.
Okay.
I worked. Matter of fact, I ran into Phil Hansen,
yeah,
which was my boss at the time for Corporate Security International, and I worked executive protection for them while I was still in the military.
Okay.
So after I left there, I started doing private investigation work, and then dabbling in the executive protection side. And then I did a lot of stuff in Central South America.
Do you have an individual or someone that you can say that you did protection for that would be not classified, that's a pretty high-level person?
Yes, the CEO or the founder of PayPal. I can't remember his name now.
Doesn't matter.
Steal something, but he was actually he was the founder of PayPal, and that's kind of a funny story because. Brian seriously calls me up. He goes, "Hey, I got a guy that needs protection. Can you go with him to Guatemala?" I'm like, sure.
And that's for the record, because people want to kidnap him and use him for ransom.
Yeah, back then Guatemala was known as the kidnap capital of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because they would kidnap you, hold you hostage, and ask for like $3,000 ransom.
Yeah.
And to them, that was a year's salary.
Yeah.
So back then Guatemala was known as the kidnap capital of the world.
Yeah, because back then that's when Colombia was known as any political leader trying to take over was going to get killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's about the same time frame.
Right.
Yeah.
So I show up in New Jersey, linked up with him, and I'm sitting there in a nice suit and tie.
Yeah.
And he walks up with T-shirts and blue jeans on.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him. I go, I think I'm a little overdressed, ain't I? He goes, yeah, you got anything you can change into? So I went in and changed into a polo shirt and some pair of jeans. Come out and I go, is this all right? And he goes, yep, you're good to go. Let's go.
It's a start.
Let's get on the plane.
Yeah.
So I talked to him for a long time on the aircraft.
Nice guy.
Very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
That's back when he was a big Tesla fan.
Right.
That's back when they first came out. He owned a place in Washington State, New Jersey, New York. So I'm started talking to him, and I go, so he just sold PayPal.
Right.
So I asked him, go, so personal question. I go, why did you sell PayPal? And he goes, I made another one. And he sold PayPal for like $6.5 billion.
Yeah.
And so we're flying down his little Learjet. And as soon as we land, I get off. I go, sir, you wait here. We got a protection detail that's going to pick us up, and I'm going to be the AIC, the advanced for you. So I go up, link up with the protection detail leader. Well, come find out the protection detail leader was one of the soldiers I trained.
Oh, no doubt.
Back in the day. So he was now working for the federal police as a protection detail. So first, as soon as I step off, he goes, did you bring your gun? I go, no, I'm not allowed to carry a gun here because I don't have a permit here. He goes, do you have a holster? I go, yeah. He goes, do you have a Glock holster? I go, yeah.
Here's your Glock.
Exactly. He goes, here's your Glock, here's your pen, put it on your suit, and here's my card. If anybody says anything about him, show them my card. And we had a great time down there. We spent like 3 or 4 days down there and then came back. Well, again, he was getting ready to go to Columbia to do something. And he calls Brian up, and Brian calls me up and goes, hey, he asked for you by name. Can you go with him to Columbia? I go, do I get a gun? He goes, nope, you can't carry a gun in Columbia. I went, he goes, I'll see what I can do. I go,
You're like, do I bring a holster?
Exactly. I go, if you can't get me to be able to carry a gun there, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
Because it's just too dangerous. So we're waiting. He goes, hey, I'll see what I can do. So he calls me back, and he goes, okay, yeah, it's been canceled. I went, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I go, why has it been canceled? He goes, he's not going to go unless you go. So he didn't go. This guy is a multi-billionaire. Didn't go to Columbia because I wouldn't go with him.
That's a cool story. That's actually really cool. So then, what got you? So you do all this, and what got you into? And you're so we're talking multiple careers here because you did, like I said, 21 years, Green Beret. Then you're working for the agency for another 10 years, multiple deployments. You're doing business protection, high level protection for people.
Well, I went to a school called Executive Security International out of Colorado.
Okay.
They're known as the Harvard because my wife comes in one day and she was a preschool teacher at Cape Fear Hospital. So she comes in, she goes, I am done. I'm finished. I go, what, with our marriage or what?
Yeah. Like, what? Oh shit, what did I do?
Exactly. She goes, no, because the kids nowadays are horrible. I'm done. I go, well, what do you want to do? She goes, I want to do what you do. I go, okay, well, we'll go down to the recruiting station and get you. She goes, and my wife, she's very, I mean, we've been married 43 years, and she is my support. She is fantastic. And she goes, no, you idiot.
Yeah.
And she goes, I want to do executive protection. All right. So I looked up, and I knew about Executive Security International, and so I signed her up for it, and I went, well, hey, I haven't really had any formal training,
Right.
so let's go. I said, we'll go together. So we went through Executive Security International together, and we both graduated with honors. And as soon as I finished that course, they hired me as an instructor. So I kept on going back and forth.
Right.
So that's one thing I taught their executive protection course.
Did you end up teaching your wife? Like, I shouldn't say you. Like, I'm sure you showed her a lot of tips and tricks.
Showed her a lot of tips.
But I mean, were you actually an instructor for during her training?
No,
that would have been funny.
They wouldn't let me.
No, that would have been good though.
Well, you know the deal. You always get somebody else to train your wife.
Yeah. Shit.
But they hired me on as in their executive protection course, which was 21 days at the time. They're what they call the PSD course, Personal Protection Security or Personal Security Protection Program. That was 21 days. So I helped build that with Mike Green. Mike Green's another great guy that was former Special Forces. So I did that, and then I started their DDM program, which is Designated Defensive Marksmanship, well, Counter Sniper.
Counter Sniper, yeah.
So I did a 21-day program for them, which they're still running to this day.
Nice. So at what point did you go over to the Air Force to be an Air Force instructor?
Because
well,
I'm old, So
Yeah.
when I left the agency, I went to the State Department at the Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program. So
Okay.
I worked that for 10 years.
So you did 10 years with the State Department after 10 years with the agency,
yeah.
and 21 years
In the military.
in the military. So we're talking, quick math, that's 40 plus
So
years.
I was a 10-year guy.
Yeah.
So I went 10 years regular infantry,
Yeah.
airborne,
Yeah.
11 years SF,
Yeah.
kind of messed it
Yes.
up for a little bit, 10 years agency, 10 years State Department. So they called me up and they go, hey, would you like to come down to work at the Air Force, at the Air Commando course? I went,
Yeah, because the Air Commando course.
yeah. I'm going, sure. I go, do I travel overseas? And they go, nope. I went, this is during COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, because I got tired of flying 24 to 26 hours with a
Yeah.
freaking mask on. But, he goes, nope. He goes, matter of fact, you get the weekends off.
You're like, a regular schedule? I've
Exactly.
never had one.
Exactly. So I'm going,
Find out if your wife really loves you.
exactly. Oh, yes. Because used to, she goes, when's your next employment?
Yeah.
But
Aren't you supposed to be going somewhere soon?
exactly. But she goes, or he goes, and you'll get when the Air Force get 4-day weekends, you'll get the 4-day weekends because all their holidays they take 4-day weekends.
Right.
I went, with pay? They go, oh yeah, you're on salary, so when you don't work, you still get paid.
Right.
I looked at my wife and go, you gonna move to Florida? She goes, is that a silly question?
Because you're right outside of Pensacola, right?
No, we were living in Nashville.
No, now.
Tennessee.
Now.
Yeah. So we were living in Nashville, Tennessee at the time.
Right.
And she goes, yeah.
Yeah.
She goes, when do we have to move? I go, next week.
Yeah. That's funny because most of your stories are, when do we do this? Now.
So she's like, because we had to sell the house and everything. I tell you what, she is a rock. She sold the house by herself within 3 days.
That's awesome.
That's just because our property was just prime property.
Right.
And so we finally moved to Florida. We lived in Navarre for 2 years, renting.
I got a buddy that's retired Air Force, pararescue. That's where he lives.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hell, I might know it.
Yeah. This is his name. I won't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good, really good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him, or I should say I haven't seen him in years, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Navarre was full of SF, PJs,
Yeah.
CCT guys.
I could probably say his name, but he's retired and he might not want his name out there. That's why I just wrote it down.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
I
Yeah,
know he listens to the show, and a couple other of my buddies that know him listen to the show. So, yeah.
But I know Eric. We won't say his last name.
Yeah, there you go.
But so when we went to buy a house, we looked in Navarre, and buddy of mine told me, he goes, hey, you go to Milton, and Milton's a lot cheaper. Taxes are cheaper.
Yeah.
So we're going, well, there's no taxes, but
Yeah.
So we looked at the house in Navarre compared to the house in Milton, and the same house in Milton was $100,000 cheaper. So
Whoa, $100,000 cheaper.
So we were going, hey, that's a no-brainer. And then the taxes were just horrendous in Navarre because you're close to the water with the hurricanes, which in Milton, I'm about 45 minutes from Herbert.
Okay.
Where I live in Milton. And kind of moved there. My wife loves it because I always tell her, I go, Milton is the Hallmark Channel town. It's just like something on Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've loved it. We've been there, well, December will be a year.
That's awesome.
That's how long we've been there.
So you're going to try to do a couple more years in this job? Because once you get to about 10, that's about your closing point.
Actually, I'm looking at next year being my last year.
Okay.
And then I'm going to focus on my business. Nice. Training. I train bodyguards, and I can certify individuals for Florida and Tennessee to do executive protection work there.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to try to get that going and get that built up. I need to make a website first.
Yeah.
I've been working on that for 20 years.
Yeah.
Anybody
that does websites out there want to give this guy a hand, give him a call.
Exactly.
Chuck could use your help.
Exactly. If you live in the Florida area, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But,
listen, we've been at this for a little while, and I know you've got a lot going on the ship with all your former SF guys. But to wrap it up, what's a message that you have, an everyday GSD message to the public that either you've learned in your careers, multiple careers, or that you can just say, you know, this is for the individual that's out there?
Well, if you're going special forces, train. Try to get as much training as you can, and I know
But that applies to everyone, though, if you really think about it, right?
Everybody in life. I mean, I'm getting older. I'll be 64 here next year, and train. Workout.
Train, workout.
Right.
Train, workout.
Get off the couch, and go places.
That's a good message. Get off the couch.
And
Tie your shoes and fucking run.
I'm just now doing it where I travel all over the world.
Yeah.
I've been almost every country you can think of. I've probably been there. I'm just now exploring and getting to know the United States.
Nice.
And the United States is the most beautiful country in the world.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Get out, travel, visit your local national parks, visit your local monuments.
Well said.
And enjoy life before it's no longer life.
Well said. Well, Chuck, I got a little gift for you. Everyday GSD shirt, because you're an everyday GSDer. I'll make sure we get you the right size. But thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your story. I know you're going to inspire people. And at the end of the day, you've been doing good for the U.S. for so many years, you know, helping the country. And I hope you're enjoying yourself on the ship. And it's been a great tour here and a great opportunity to meet with you and all your other brothers out here. So thank you again. I appreciate you.
I say, God bless everybody, and God bless America.
Thank you.